Hello and welcome to the closing update. I'm just going to give a little bit of a synopsis of what happened yesterday and overnight. Starting off with the E-mini, had a positive day, hasn't done much overnight. Key level, we've got this weekly resistance at 23.97 3/4, which also coincides with the relativity level, which is at 23.99, so that's a very clear focus for the whole of the week. If we do manage to close above there and ideally new highs, then that would open up the upside again. Support wise, one thing to note is a daily level that had been there for a very long time has moved up to the low that was made last week, so it's created a fresh support. If it might be lower than what it was the week before, so whereas 23, I think it was 54, 23.54 was the focus as the final support last week. This week it's now 23.44. Just have a look at the Dow, and the same thing has happened on the Dow. You can see that some daily levels have moved up. Now these use a 5-bar pattern, so we've got to avoid breaking the low of the 18th for those patterns to stay there today, but if they do, support is suddenly going to jump. So again, last week we had some space. Just spread this out a little bit. Last week we had some space, and suddenly if we don't take out last week's lows, we'll have some fresh support points. Just shows how you just have to do your work once a day, because it's easy to miss things like that. Suddenly, the picture has changed considerably in terms of where the support happens to be. Do the Nasdaq as well, and not surprisingly, we've already had one support. This is a Heikin Ashi baseline that's moved up, and we've had a daily line move up as well. So again, a shift, and these lines are from a long way back. Just do the Russell. No real change in the Russell. Still got that weekly support point. Is the line in the sand. We're really trapped within, I suppose, some trend lines of daily levels at the moment. Quickly do Europe. The DAX, pretty quiet yesterday, not really much happening. Euro stocks, again, also pretty quiet, although a daily level, if we don't take out Friday's low, that level will be fixed. FTSE, it's pretty bulletproof. Said at the weekend that it was the strongest market, and it remains the case. And then Australia had a buy signal, just about held. We talked last week with Jeremy did about it coming into a major support area. We've had a buy signal overnight. That's a time continuation buy. This is like the 24-hour session, so gives a slightly different chart, as it were, but it's still saying that there was that buy. This kind of currencies, euro dollar said it was bullish. It's just edged higher yesterday. Still reasonably strong today. There is no resistance anywhere near, so there's nothing to stop it at present. Australia, coming up to the weekly resistance, which is at 75.25 on the spot, and if I do the futures, there's a little bit more confluence of levels, and we're right at the top of that level, 74.98, which is pretty much where we are now. The first pivot up is at 75.11, so coming up towards those resistance points. On commodities, silver. Silver took out 1688 yesterday, and what's significant is what was resistance has moved to support. So that's reinforced the low of the week before. We've still got this level at 1733. Take that out, opens up some space. 1871, so there's plenty of room there. The other thing to note is what was resistances here, these are daily levels, have also moved underneath price. So the whole picture is flipping. This is how time evolves and is very important. So actually becoming more bullish. It really did underperform a little bit last week considering what the dollar did, but seems to have got its mojo back at the week's beginning. Crude oil. This is just a timing signal, and it's based on the 7-day and 7-week rule. So in its own right, it's not particularly important. It's when it combines with something else that is of more interest. Here's an example of one a few weeks ago, and nothing else happened at the point, so it was ignored before finally we hit that. Remember, we hit that 54. We went one tick below that resistance point. We had a UFO and time continuation, which set off the collapse. Back down again, and then we got the opposite signal, pops and time continuation buy on that spike low. Do sugar. So it's one of our positions. Pretty quiet yesterday. Just edged higher, so not a great deal going on. Support has moved to the lows though, that weekly level. Do corn. Corn's also one that's on our list. Edged higher yesterday and has reversed a little bit today. It's overnight session, there's not really much volume at this time of the day, so I wouldn't read too much into it. The key is 384.5. Got to take that out on a daily and a weekly basis, and then we can then it can rock. Finally, we just do just a quick look at dollar CAD. Saw that it broke the monthly breakout point, support point. We had a UFO, and this is an example of a timing coming together. So we had a timing on the 7-day rule. We also had a steps ending, and we had a UFO. So when you get that confluence, that gives that a hell of a lot more power than if it was just a timing point on its own. Really seeing if we can get all the way back up to 136.00. Major resistance. It's also somewhere, because it's a round number, where there will be barrier options and things also there. Okay, so that's the roundup. Thanks.